And welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Rock Sports Extra, and it's time now for the Red Dirt Roundtable as we take a look back at last week's game with Berry Hill. We lose it by 28-27, but what a game. Just another way to start off the season here, the second game of the year, homecoming. We lose it by one, but it's a game that there was just a lot of things that happened, Terry.
Hey, absolutely. A young team, 160 yards passing, 198 yards rushing, 300 and some odd total yards of offense, but we had 75 yards in penalties. So I think that kind of sets the tone for what we experienced Friday night.
Absolutely did. And they came as a highly ranked Berry Hill team, a low-ranked Cushing team, and really what I saw on the field, this is a very balanced team, very equally matched on both sides of the field. Defensively, both teams were solid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really good ball game to call. I mean, we had the call in the booth, and we talked about it. It's going to be a slugfest.
Yeah.
We're going to punch each other in the mouth, counter punch. That's what it was about all night long. Special teams, I thought, was going to play a role in it, and certainly did in the outcome. So, I thought both teams were really evenly matched, John.
Thank you, Belton. I agree wholeheartedly with these guys. That was one heck of a ball game, and we said earlier while we were talking that if you paid your $5, boy, you got your money's worth. But I want to focus in on the very last play of the game because it was there was some controversy and there was a lot of discussion going on the field. In fact, I think the discussion on the field took about 17 to 20 minutes. When the Tigers were going to go for the win, which I love, go for the win at home. They were going for the win on the very first play. We didn't make it, but there was there a whistle? Our fans were going. They yelled. They called timeout. I found out from two different sources. They didn't know I spoke to them, and they both corroborated the same story. The line judge over on the far side of the field, he kind of his whistle. He blew it because he thought one of the guys from Berry Hill was calling timeout, but he wasn't sure, and so he blew it as the play was going on. Well, when the white hat came over to ask him if he blew the whistle, he said no. No, I did not blow the whistle. Well, then the Berry Hill, Coach Shoup went out and had some discussion, and then they went over and talked to the Berry Hill coach, and then they asked the stick crew, and the stick crew said yes, he blew the whistle. The guy denied blowing the whistle the whole time. So the white hat took a chewing, a big-time chewing, if you guys remember, from that Berry Hill coach. He took that chewing for his line judge because the line judge said he didn't blow the whistle. But one thing we talked about up in the booth Friday night was, what if the Tigers would have scored there? Mm-hmm. And then they turn around and say, no, Berry Hill called timeout. Yeah. So then you have the eruption on our side of the field. Either way, we did get to run the play again, and it just didn't come out our way, Mike.
Yeah, well, just a lot of things happening throughout the game that you don't really expect. And like I say, I think Coach Shoup was actually on the field more than some of the players were that night, and it was in discussion with the officials out there. So just a lot of things happened. We had a 30-yard penalty at one time that went against Berry Hill, and that was kind of a critical point in the ball game.
Hey, can I talk to that? I saw Peyton Carmen the other night, and remember, Coach Shoup pulled Peyton aside and was having some intense fellowship.
Yes, he was.
And we thought in the booth that it was going to be on Peyton, but it wasn't. It ended up being 2 personal fouls against Berry Hill. So I asked Peyton, Peyton, what was going on down there? And he said, number 55, I've been jawing at them all night, cussing at them all night, and finally there had to be some pushback. And so I appreciate the boys sticking together. Burton was in on that too. They stuck together and they went, after 55. And I don't know what 55 did to get the penalties, but he drew the 2. It wasn't against us.
Yeah. Well, and again, there was a lot of balance that we saw, I think, from both sides of the field. For us, we had runners getting in. What about Tyler Watkins? 51 yards. I mean, Coach Shoup talked about him last week about what kind of role he plays as a tight end, but nice 51-yard run on that middle screen.
We called it from the booth, middle screen, across the middle, he catches it, and we laughed about it in the booth, but he was rumbling, stumbling, fumbling, but he made it all the way to the end zone. It was a great play call at that time of the ball game, and it changed the momentum a little bit for the Tigers.
And great job for him to run after the reception. The run after was incredible.
Yes. Yeah. I thought overall, offensively, we have so many weapons. We talked about this last week. I'm just so impressed with all the weapons we have, and I think Ian just has to get just a tad more confidence. I thought last week he had a ton of confidence. This week he was just a half a second shy on getting rid of the ball. I think he needs to make just get a half a second quicker on making decisions, and we could have had some bigger plays.
Speaking of that, let's go back down here, Don. Let's say MVP of the game.
My MVP this week is kind of a combined MVP of last week and this week. I got to go with Trey Morris. I mean, that kid gets the ball and creates separation. Chief and I talk about it up in the booth all the time. When he gets around the end, he creates separation from him and the guy chasing him. So I'm going to go with Trey Morris. 90, probably officially
99.
100, but we have to say 99 because otherwise the ball would have been dead in the end
In
zone.
the end zone, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, there's several guys that stick out again, especially on the offensive side of the ball, but this week I'm gonna go with both Ian Jones and Tyler Watkins.
I'm gonna go with Josh Houchin because that guy goes through the line better than anybody I've seen in a long time.
Trey Morris.
Trey Morris, good pick. Yeah, Tyler Watkins. Levi Herron doesn't get missed a lot, both defensively and offensively. So anyway, a lot of good things that happen. Hey, we're going to be back with more of the Red Dirt Roundtable right after this. We'll be back.